Good morning. I'd like to welcome everyone to this meeting of the Cabinet Member for Climate Emergency Decision Day, which is taking place from the Walton Suite, Winchester Guildhall. Time is 9:30. My name is Councillor Kelsey Lerney, Chairperson and Cabinet Member for Climate Emergency. Please can I advise that this meeting is being audio recorded and live streamed from the Council website. In addition, a video recording of the meeting will be uploaded to the Council's YouTube channel after the meeting. Please can I remind any officers joining virtually to turn off their cameras and mute their microphones until invited to speak. Can I also remind those in the room to speak clearly and remember to use your microphone. In addition, please speak directly into the microphone and do not turn away when speaking. This will ensure your comments are picked up for the audio and video recording, as well as improving the audibility in the room. Finally, please can I ask everyone to ensure that mobile phones and other electronic devices are on silent or switched off entirely. Welcome everybody. If we start on the agenda, do we have any interest to declare? No, so that's none. We have business items with public participation, and I have Peter Mills wishing to speak. Would you like to hear the introduction to the paper before speaking, or would you like to speak now, Mr. Mills? Right, thank you very much. Visiting councillor representation, we have no councillors with us today. So that brings us on to the only item of business on the agenda, the Traffic Regulation Order Programme for 2022-23, paper DD47. This paper comes to us today because the County Council have given the City Council a termination notice in relation to the agency agreement for traffic management, and this will finish on 31st of March 2023. Clearly this leads to a need for us to review the programme and determine which items we're going to progress and which we're going to move on to the County Council. Mr. Hickman, would you like to give a brief further introduction?
Yes, thank you. I think what you said summarises it very well, that because the County Council are now taking back the Highways Agency Agreement from the City Council from the 31st of March 2023, we've taken the opportunity to review our Traffic Regulation Order Programme, make sure that we can deliver the schemes in it before that termination date takes effect. We last agreed the programme on the 6th of September 2021. To this new programme attached as Appendix 1. And we've prioritised the schemes in that programme based on our priorities set out in paragraph 9. So yes, I think that's all I need to say.
Thank you very much, Mr. Hickman. Mr. Mills, would you like to come to the table? If you just press the button on the front of the microphone, it should turn red, and if you lower it and speak straight into it, that should be fine.
Thank you. Yeah, my name is Peter Mills from number 7 Manhole Rise. I'm a director of the Chilbolton Management Company, residents group that represents the interests and the property around Manhole Rise. 19 houses. I initially put requests in back in, and you'll see here data requests October 2020. Council to look at parking management within Manhole Rise. I think we're one of the closest roads to certainly the university. I understand the history as to but the road is frequently abused by people bidding the parking schemes and trying to park, predominantly students, many days, sometimes weeks. Our initial, we know we need to organise ourselves parking control, parking management or zone, which we are doing. But in the meantime, there's lots of abuse, dangerous parking, the blind corner. So when I came along to the Decision Day meeting, December last year, 21, it was initially with Councillor Todd's support, yellow line, agency single yellow line on a particular line bend marking. I see that was sort of diluted in the minutes of that single yellow line and a. To be quite clear, we have no impact from school students and people in the city centre and fighting amongst them. I now see in this in the safety schemes in this agenda, it's monthly monitoring to start January 2. Request the out. Don't believe there's been any going through to January 20. Now, the one thing I would just say, and I appreciate the 3 minutes. Originally, Winchester City Council weren't prepared to put a white line on that corner. Hampshire County Council hadn't white lining. As I understand now, the agency agreement is going to end. Yellow line can be within the agency agreement. So County Council or Winchester can now revert to putting a white line in. They're not subject. So that's what I'd like to say. It's a serious detriment to the amenity there. There's a lot of speeding, some near accidents on. If anyone knows Manhole Rise, there's a hammerhead at the bottom, and the abuse by people sort of outside of the neighbourhood.
Right, thank you, Mr. Mills. Can we now Manhole Rise is on the programme along with Sarum View and Nightingale Close. Can we have an update on where we are with that scheme, please?
Yes, of course. I mean, since the last decision day, we have reviewed all the schemes in the programme at Manhole Rise. We have also checked with Hampshire County Council with regard to the rules for white lines, and they do still apply. Whatever County Council. So we can't use white lines. We have moved that forward because we do recognise you do have. I pass to Tracy and Shep.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. We're intending to put a yellow line in this year. It's in the programme and we've started the consultation process on it. So you should see something on street probably in September time advertising the yellow line.
Okay, thank you. You have I share that with the back to the.
Yes, I'm very happy if you report back. Sorry, although as usual with these things, I'd appreciate it if it was autumn rather than September, because with these things have a tendency to slip. But if they don't appear, then please chase us up towards the end of the year. Thank you very much for that. I think my principal question is, clearly we have a list of items which we intend to progress while we still hold the agency agreement, and a number which will be passed on to the County Council. Can you tell me how we're going to deal with those that are only part way through when we undergo the transition?
Yes, well, we obviously hope to complete the schemes in the new programme, Appendix 1. But if we don't, for whatever reason, those will pass over to the County Council, and the staff in the team dealing with them so move to the County Council as well. So there will be that continuity. I have made Hampshire County Council officers aware of this new programme. They have seen all the details of it. We're having regular liaison meetings with them. So we will maintain that dialogue even with the agency agreement. Make sure that things. Ultimately, it will be up to Hampshire County Council after March 23 as to what schemes they. We hope that schemes that we've started, we will finish the majority of them, and we hope, and we will sort of press on the county that it's important that we do finish those ones, because they haven't expressed any concerns over the programme we've presented.
Thank you very much, Mr. Hickman. I've had a number of questions passed to me by Councillor Atchwell from Whiteley. Firstly, asking about details of the car club scheme that's proposed for Whiteley. Do you have any information on that?
We're still waiting for details from Hampshire County Council for that one to go forward.
Right, thank you. I'll encourage Councillor Atchwell to chase County up on that one. Second question is, on Parkway, when are the double yellow lines being painted and what's the hold up?
We're reviewing the scheme at the moment because we're concerned that the length of double yellow line proposed in the scheme is quite excessive and it will take a lot of parking away. So we're reviewing the scheme at the moment.
And finally, a question about Time Avenue, where white lines have been put in place, and a question about how we will monitor those white lines.
We do have civil enforcement officers that go out there. We can ask them to have a look at views. So I'm sure people will let us know if that's the case.
Yeah, yes. I think that was going to be my recommendation, that the local councillors let us know, and then we can take action if we feel it's needed. Clearly, white lines aren't enforceable as such, but they do indicate that it's an area where it's not particularly desirable to park. Thank you for that. In the light of the representations made today, I'm minded to agree the recommendations as set out. So the recommendation is that the Traffic and Transport Programme, April 22 to 31st of March 2023, as set out in this report, Appendix 1, be approved. And I will approve that and sign the decision-making record. The appropriate point. Right, so with that, we've dealt with all the items of business on the agenda today. So I'd like to thank Mr. Mills for coming to speak to us today and for the officers in the room. And we'll bring the meeting to a close.